Good morning. It's Weezy FS1. Skip the BS and put everybody after BS. PS, all I spit is FACTS. The best, Skip Bayless, yes, say less. Top for the top, apex, everyday flex. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't poppin', I ain't trying to hate. Let's have a Jordan and LeBron debate. I got time today, dripping on the chain. My diamonds say what they gotta say. If you think it's a game, I commentate, I ain't gotta play. On in the morning, I own my opponent. My competition is not an issue, it's cotton tissue. Unconventional, controversial, convoluted, unconditional, undeterred and undisputed. Good morning.
Good morning. It is time to skip the BS. Time for Undisputed. Time to delve into what shapes up as the ultimate trap game in the history of the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday at Washington, 4:25 Eastern on Fox. So much is riding on a game. The Cowboys are favored to win by 13.5 points. Win it, and the Cowboys win the 2 seed and potentially 2 home playoff games where they've, of course, won 16 straight games. Lose it, and they're on the road for the playoffs. And as we all know, as Keyshawn reminds again and again and again, this year's Dallas Cowboys don't play nearly as well on the road. So the playoffs effectively start this Sunday for this team on the road at their historical arch rival. Trust me on this. I've been doing this a long time. For 44 years, these teams have taken turns upsetting each other, spoiling each other's seasons, shocking each other when least expected. In fact, the underdog has often been the real favorite in this game. If the Cowboys come out flat for this game, if they play down to the level of competition, as we've seen them do before, and blow this game, trust me, Mike McCarthy will find himself on the hot seat, and Dak's Cowboy legacy and future could come back into question. This feels like the biggest little game I can ever remember. And remember, last year, with a long shot chance of winning the division, the Cowboys went to Washington, came out flat, and got embarrassed by the Commanders 26-6 as Dak had a QBR of 15. That's scaled 0 to 100. The offense went 4 out of 18 on third down. The Commanders' starting quarterback in that game was Sam Howell. And now it sounds like the Commanders are stuck with starting Sam Howell, who leads the NFL in interceptions with 19 and in time sacked with 61. They wanted to start Jacoby Brissett last Sunday against the 49ers in Washington, but Brissett pulled his hamstring. He remains out. Meanwhile, all signs point to this being the final game for Ron Rivera as head coach in Washington. This feels like a Super Bowl game in Washington to me for the Commanders. So, Michael Irvin, you really know this team.
Yeah.
How hard will it be for the Cowboys to take the Commanders seriously enough from jump on Sunday?
But first, Skip, I'm going to tell you something. They will look at this like a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And most times you go in there, Week 18, people think, well, this team has the bags packed and you can get out of here. That this won't be a hard game. But in Washington, things will be different when you play the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington now Commanders.
Yeah.
That's a rivalry. And that's a big game, and they will be up for it. Now, my Cowboys, I'm worried. Our Cowboys, I worry in this sense. I worry in this sense. If you put on that kind of performance in the midst of last Saturday night, what was in the air and all of that and everything that went on around that game, I worry about your emotional meter. Your emotional meter to get yourself going in these types of games and in this game with so much on the line. Now, the narrative has changed. It used to be the Dallas Cowboys can't beat any good team on the road. That thing has gotten so bad, it's the Dallas Cowboys can't win a game on the road.
Yeah.
Even in your run-up, you didn't mention a good team anymore.
No.
It's just gotten so bad, you got to be a team on the road, period.
Agreed.
That's where the narrative has gotten to, and this is an opportunity. I know on the outside, people will say, oh, it's just the Washington Commanders. But on the inside, everybody inside of Dallas knows how hard this game is. And you just talked about last year, what happened when they went in messing around. And now that Washington has nothing to lose, you can expect fake punts and all kind of things going on in this game, and they have a talent that could put you away if you're not serious. I am concerned, but I know when I hear Michael Parsons say, and I hear the guys say, this is an opportunity for us on the road now. I know they know it's no longer about beating a good team on the road. It's just about showing up and playing well on the road.
Yeah.
And, dude, you know, this opportunity that they got when I told y'all came from the heavens above, when that curse was lifted, when Jimmy Johnson lifted the curse off the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Let me tell you something that you need to know here. That first year the Cowboys went in and won the Super Bowl in '92 with Jimmy Johnson, you know what they went in as? A second seed. And went all the way to the Super Bowl. And the Cowboys have this opportunity to go in now as the second seed. What a perfect opportunity to lift the cover off that Cowboy thing and take it all the way to Las Vegas when Jimmy went into the Ring of Honor to solidify that. So I feel that...
By the way, you went to San Francisco and shocked them at San Francisco.
And shocked... Ooh, I forgot about that part. I forgot about that part. It was the same thing. Did you know that? It was the same exact thing. It was the same exact thing. I'm just saying. So, yeah, when they hear all that we just talked about, and they will hear this, and they get a feel for all of that, I'm confident they'll be ready when they go into Washington. What you laughing about, Key?
Because you're bringing up something from 1992.
All of it. And last year, I used last year, too.
Half the team probably wasn't even born, man.
But they were born last year when they went into Washington. That's why I commingled.
Hey, Keyshawn, it feels like yesterday to me.
Yeah, you're talking about exactly like that. That's what the curse did when it got lifted.
This is what's going to happen. Washington's going to come to play.
They will come. They will come.
Because they're not only playing for the Washington Commanders, they're playing for 31 other teams too. They're playing for 31 other teams, meaning the individual players that have contracts
that are leaving,
that are going to potentially be leaving, or whatever the case is. They're playing for their futures, and it would be shocking if the Dallas Cowboys walked in there with the number 2 seed on the line and potentially NFC East after going through everything that they've gone to on the road. They are not a good team on the road, despite what you may think and say. Doesn't matter if it's a good team over 500 or a bad team like Arizona. They just are not good for whatever reasons on the road.
Well, it's just gotten. I say that's where the narrative has gotten. That's not necessarily the reality. But
the reality is they're 3-5 on the road.
Yeah, but
that means you're not
be
good.
3-4, right?
But
they're
3 and 4 right now.
They'll be 3 and 5. They will be 3 and 5 when they lose this football game. If they was to lose it, that is not a.
That was a Freudian. You think that was a Freudian slip? That was, or you think? Are you saying that was just prophetic? When you said 3 and 5, was that a slip up, or you prophesying 3 and 5?
No, it was a slip up because I anticipate, based on the history of the Dallas Cowboys, that they'll probably wind up at 3 and 5, just based on all of the things that has gone on with them. This is a perfect opportunity, though, like I said yesterday. Okay? You get 2 home games. You don't want to go on the road and have to go to 3. You got 2 at home. You seize the moment, and if you're so lucky to get to San Francisco, you go to San Francisco and you figure out how to win that game. Because if you got to go on the road, starting in New Orleans, I'm just going to say New Orleans.
Okay.
You start in New Orleans. On the road. That's a tough one, right? And then wherever else you got to go again, maybe it's to Detroit or something, I don't know. That's a tough one. And then San Francisco, we assume, won't get popped by whoever they face. That's just a juggernaut. So if I'm in that locker room and I'm with Micah Parsons and I'm with CeeDee Lamb and them, I'm letting them know the playoffs actually start for us right now.
It's right now.
Right now. And for us to get to the ultimate prize, we've got to make the easy path. We don't want the hard path. The easy path is 2 games at home, and then wherever we go from there, that's what it is. Because if they don't get to the NFC Championship game this year, it's going to be some stuff going to move around, I'm sure, in Dallas. I don't know if it's the coaches, players, or whatever the case is.
A little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both. But it's all lined up perfectly, starting last Saturday and Sunday, when Philadelphia dropped the ball against Arizona and the Cowboys was given a gift by Dan Campbell.
It was a curse being lifted. But you go ahead on.
No, it was a gift.
Okay. That's what a curse being lifted.
It was a gift.
A gift from Jimmy.
It was both.
It was both. It was.
And so you get that opportunity, Skip. Now you just seize the moment. Can they do it?
Yes.
Every single time we seem to say this, whether it's the Bills of Miami or as years in the past where they had great records and then they go home, as Richard Sherman likes to say, division and done. Division and done. Can they change that narrative? Is that am I saying it right?
Divisional and done.
Can they change that reality? That has been the reality.
Yeah, that's been the reality.
The narrative is when you guys come up with something that's not reality. They have been division and done.
So it's not reality that they've been division and done. Got it.
It's reality.
Got it.
That's reality.
I agree with every word both of you just spoke times 1,000.